Please come to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for remembrance of the victims and first responders for 9/11. Okay, you can please be seated. Welcome to the Village Board meeting of September 11th, 2023. Roll call.
Possession.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
Gardner.
Here.
Stacy.
Here.
Terry.
Here.
Giannotti.
Here.
In your packet, you've got let me try that again. You've got minutes from our last meeting. Does anyone have any changes? If not, can we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call?
Possession.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Giannotti.
Yes.
Does anyone from the audience wish to address the board? Village clerk's report.
The total tax income received in the month of August is $315,398.73. I also have a thank you card here from the family of Landis Whaling, who recently passed away, addressed to dear village officials and employees. Thank you so much for the beautiful flower arrangement. We appreciate the time you spent to attend Landis' visitation. He was so proud to have served the village of Beecher. Signed, the family of Landis Whaling. That's all that I have.
All right. Village commissions. 4th of July commission, trustee Kraus.
Joe. Numbers look good. There were a couple outstanding bills. Looking at a few projects, one of which the village board approved last, which is paving that last portion of the driving path to the backside of the park along the creek. Other than that,
the American Soft Wash will be here on Thursday.
oh yeah, the
the roofs
two buildings are getting washed. The roofs of the big 6-wheel, washing that roof, and the food stand is all going to get soft washed to clean the shingles and give them a little extra life. So that'll give us a little longevity on the roof and spruce up down there. I think that's pretty it. So, off to planning the next one.
All right. Does that complete your report, trustee Kraus?
Yeah, let me check the notes, yes.
The report that Joe gave, right?
Youth commission, trustee session.
Thank you very much. Next meeting is tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. here at the Village Hall. A couple updates. BYC manned a table at the BES Back to School Night in August. Their Parents Night Out fundraiser at Cinnamon Bowl is coming up on September 23rd. Advanced tickets are still available at $35 per ticket. And the BYC is in the planning stages for a potential bike light ride event in October, which they're going to discuss more tomorrow. So that's all.
All right. Historic Preservation Commission, trustee Gardner.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll be having a small historical display in the library throughout the month of January. We will be discussing what we will have on display at our upcoming meeting, September 20th at 6 p.m. Anyone interested in the village's history is welcome to attend. That concludes my report.
Okay. Under my report, we had considering a motion regarding the village attorney to draft an ordinance increasing the number of Class B liquor licenses by 1 to allow for the sale of beer only at 755 Penfield. The applicant is not here, and to the best of my knowledge, she has not re-upped her application. Just as a matter of consensus, if she does come back, I hate to have the woman keep bouncing back and forth asking for this. And one of the things I told her was I'm not inclined to want to grant 2 liquor licenses in one building. So I'm kind of looking for consensus from you guys. Is there anybody here who's interested in having like 2 liquor licenses in the same building?
No.
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 No? Okay.
So can I make a motion then to table this unless there's any further advancement on the applicant's part?
Yeah, and actually, this gives me some information to give her if she does come back again, to say, look, we did this at a board meeting. And another thing for you guys to consider is, I know her business plan was not fleshed out when she brought it in, but I think Todd and I were the only ones that were on the board at the time when we did the ordinance regarding gaming, where we wanted gaming cafes to have kitchen equipment, some form of a menu, hot and cold foods, because we didn't want just very minimal, warm something up and serve a minimal amount of liquor. We wanted to make it more like restaurants, something that would benefit the community. So just bear in mind, if you do approve something in the future where someone is basically just having a reheated item or, one liquor item, you're kind of setting a threshold for anybody else who may want to come in and do that same thing. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, and you don't have to, do any consensus tonight. I kind of wanted to just deal with the fact about the 2 licenses in the same building. I am not interested in that, but I kind of wanted to hear what you guys had to say. And then if you'd like to.
So, yeah, I'd like to make a motion to table this pending any, further consideration by the applicant.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
Okay, we need a motion to move the first meeting in October from Monday the 9th till Tuesday the 10th at 7 p.m. due to the Columbus Day holiday.
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Who made the motion?
Ben made the motion and Roger did the second.
Okay. Possession.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Giannotti.
Yes.
And since we're at it, we need a motion to cancel the regular meeting scheduled for Monday, December 25th.
Not over that day. I'll make a motion.
All right.
Second.
All right, that was trustee Kraus and Giannotti. Roll call.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
All right, and later on, I will request closed session to discuss applications received from the village administrator. Finance and Administration Committee, trustee Kraus.
Treasurer's report, Don?
The August month-end balance for the village accounts, $8,065,660. And the month-end for the commission accounts, $361,702.17. The total combined, $8,427,302.77. And the August month end in general, $1,283,159.90. The commission non-AP payments for the month of August, $417,705.72. There were 3 payrolls in the month of August, so that upped it a little bit. Other than that, very standard. And if there are no questions, that would end my report.
So I'll make a motion approving the treasurer's report.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Possession.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Giannotti.
Yes.
Then variance reports are enclosed for your review, and I'd like to make a motion approving the bills and payroll for the previous month.
Want to give me the amount?
Amount of $167,836.89.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Giannotti.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Public Buildings and Properties, Parks and Recreation Committee, trustee Giannotti.
Thank you. Wilton Stead Park update. They started work last week.
Yeah, they tilled the ground up out there. They were supposed to be out there beginning today to do some leveling and some dirt moving. Obviously, the weather did not play fair, and not sure when they'll be back, but they are beginning the process out there.
New public safety building update. We are good to go for 10:30 a.m. bid letting, or bid opening on Wednesday, October 4th. We will consider bid award at the October 23rd board meeting. And then I'd like to consider a motion authorizing the village attorney to draft an ordinance for a plot of vacants, or plot of,
Yeah, it is vacation.
it is vacation? Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't misreading it. For Country Lane. I even did that when I was reading over it the other day. This was discussed at the last meeting, but was not on the agenda, so this begins the official action. So I would like to make a motion authorizing the village attorney to draft an ordinance for a plot of vacation for Country Lane.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call.
Musician,
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Giannotti?
Yes. Consider options for relinquishing title of the Southfield Knoll Park. This piece of property serves no useful public purpose, but to be fair, but how to fairly and equitably dispose of it is another problem. A legal plot of vacation makes no sense due to the pizza pie effect, with each surrounding owner being granted a slice. It is also difficult to come up with a modified plot that would be fair to all. Another option is to have it appraised and sell it to the highest bidder, but then how is the use of the land controlled down the road? The best option is to have an HOA created by the surrounding owners and donated to the HOA. The last option is to leave it as is and have Public Works continue to mow. The board can elect the option it wishes to pursue, and then we will work on that process. So this is the one that Bob was talking about last meeting, called the donut hole, even though it's not in the shape of a donut.
Apparently it's a pizza.
So, and the triangle ends up being pizza slices, so, I don't know if anyone's got an opinion on which way they wanna go with it. I definitely, I mean, it's, from talking to Matt, it's kind of a pain that we have to keep mowing this. You know, we don't use it for anything, we don't have any way of, I mean, there's really, the only way to access it is what, the easement along the farm field?
Yeah, which is not accessible at this time, so we've been cutting through private property in order to maintain it.
So, I mean, it really doesn't make sense to keep it and keep mowing it. There's no really public use for it at any point, so.
Does any of those residents express interest in it?
They use it. I don't know if that expresses
Does
actual
any of
interest
those
in
express
ownership,
interest
but
in paying for
in
it?
ownership, no. Not, I mean, we've never brought the, you know, we've never entertained that idea to them either. So,
I guess what's the easiest way to get this, guess off our books?
Sell it. But.
sell
I
it to
mean,
the lowest, or the highest bidder, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we could, I guess we could approach them and ask them if they'd be interested in creating an HOA to take it, but if they don't wanna do an HOA, maybe approach it by just selling it to whoever wants to buy it. You know,
Just sell it if that's the easiest thing to do, and then they don't have to mow it anymore.
so, cause I mean, it sounds like it's a little bit of a process to, they'd have to establish the HOA, and then you'd have to donate it to the HOA, which means that it could be another season of taking care of a piece of property.
The only thing about, I'd almost wanna broach it to them as far as an HOA first, just because if you offer it for sale, one guy buys it and then says, oh, no, nobody else can walk on my land now, then you got all kinds of neighbor issues. I don't know. Establishing an HOA would be a pain and they probably wouldn't go for it, but if they
Offer it.
offer it, and if they say no, then okay, somebody wants to buy it, you didn't wanna make an HOA.
So maybe sell
That's
it.
just my thought.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too, because there is a possibility that the bidder isn't even one of the property owners as well. It's not like we can say, oh, this is only open to bid to public piece of property, anyone can bid on it. So,
Somebody buy that thing.
and you never know. So, I mean, maybe, what do you think, maybe call a committee meeting and see if we can get the homeowners in the room and see if they're, you know, invite them to a committee meeting, see if they're interested in starting an HOA and go from there.
Yeah, cause if you donate them the land, it's not like that costs them money, but basically they would have to chip in or take turns mowing it. That's about
Exactly, they
it.
have to establish their own
Mhm.
process.
And that would be on them.
Cause a few of those pieces are owned by the same owner, right? Aren't there two
I'm
or
not
three
sure.
that
That were owned, so.
There's a couple of lots that aren't owned either, I think.
There's a
They're
couple that are
vacant.
vacant.
They're vacant,
no
yeah.
houses on
Those are
them.
the ones that we're cutting across right now, but once those get occupied, if the time were to come, then we're kinda landlocked back there, if you will.
Mhm.
So,
else have any? So we'll approach it, see if they wanna set up an HOA and try donating it that way, and work from there.
It's a good first step, I think.
Okay, so we'll start there and work our way through it then. And that concludes my report.
Alright. Planning, Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Gardner.
The steering committee met this past Thursday and began reviewing the first 3 sections of the zoning ordinance. Our next meeting on that will be on October 12th. The next plan commission meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 28th. The agenda includes another special use application for a tobacco store, and this application is enclosed. The PZC will be briefed on the first steering committee meeting results. That concludes my report.
Public Safety Committee, Trustee Terry.
Thank you, Mayor. The police department's monthly reports enclosed. Lieutenant, anything like that?
No.
The EMA monthly reports also enclosed. Director Heim?
No, I have nothing.
And the code enforcement report is also enclosed. The police department is going to be participating in the fire district's open house, which is going to be on Friday, October 13th. We'll actually have like a little tent or booth out there. Due to all the construction on Penfield, we won't have the actual police department open. And that concludes my report.
Alright. Public Works Committee, Trustee Stacy.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to consider a motion waiving bids for the expansion of the 2023 resurfacing project. As was discussed at the last meeting, there was a consensus to add to the scope of the resurfacing project using the lowest bidder's pricing. Since the scope of the project will change significantly, or more than 50%, this motion is required. So, can I make a motion now? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to waive the bids for the expansion of the 2023 resurfacing program.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call.
Giannotti?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Possession?
Yes.
Okay, I consider a motion authorizing the proposal of workers paving to add Orchard, Meadow Lane to the resurfacing projects at the same unit price as was provided for Country Lane. This would cap the project budget at $120,000 and allow the completion of 3 blocks of roadway that has not been touched in the village for over 50 years. This action will defer the program for 2024, but we will get 2 years' worth of work done in 1 year at a very good unit price. It is recommended that the motion be approved. I make a motion authorizing the proposal of workers paving to add Orchard, Meadow Lane to the resurfacing project at the same unit price as was provided for Country Lane under the competitive bid.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Alright, there's a motion and a second, discussion.
I have a question. Why, do you know why, you won't have, it says defer the program 2024, does that mean you won't have funds for next year? I don't understand that. Because usually we budget $100,000 every year.
Yeah, according to Bob, and it was explained, well, man, I'll let you explain that.
Yeah, this year we had a total of 300,000. 160 to 170,000 of that went to the 600 block of Gould Street. Yeah, so that way we could tie that in with the Penfield Street project and the 500 block of Gould. I know a lot of the funds from the infrastructure is tied up with as well as MFT for the repayment of the Penfield Street project loan. In talks with Administrator Barber, this potentially, it's not guaranteed that this potentially could defer it for an additional year in needing to skip next year, just because we don't know exactly where the Penfield Street's going to finalize that. We owe 20% of whatever the end result is. We don't know what that end result technically is, though. So it's not a guarantee that it would be deferred. It is a possibility, though. And that's because we put 300,000 into it, where normally we put 100 to 150 in per year. So kind of doubled down this year in thinking that Gould Street was going to cost more than what it actually did, and we were able to get more done this year this way.
And then is that 120, is that this plus what we approved last meeting?
No, that would be a total, so
Because this plus last meeting is slightly over 120, isn't it?
it
So I
is,
just
it'd
wanna make
be,
sure we're making the right motion.
yeah, it'd be 123,436 if we included all, everything that was proposed here. If we don't do the 2 patches, it would come in at 118,496, which would be below the 120 of originally discussed, so.
So what's your motion? Because if you do it up to 120, we're cutting some of this, so that's why I'm asking. Are we doing a 120
Well,
cap?
technically, the motion you made was the one in the packet, right?
Yes.
Which does not include the patch.
No.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. That's why I paused when I was looking at this. I was just talking to her. In our packet, it calls for a motion authorizing the proposal to do add Orchard and Meadow to Country Lane. It does not include the extra $49.40 for the patches on Foxhound. So it just kind of depends on what motion we're making. Are we approving the original, or are we adding the patch, which changes the whole total and takes us over the 120?
Well,
So the motion you made does not include the
does not
patches,
include it,
correct?
and, I mean,
And that's, I mean, what did the committee decide? That's fine. I'm just asking, so I want to make sure the numbers are right.
yeah, are we gonna go with the patches, Matt?
I sort of, I mean, maybe kicking myself in the foot here, but I mean, I thought we sort of were gonna not do patches and try to,
Well, the way I understand it, they reuse some of the infrastructure money to get the patchwork done, so should I withdraw my motion and
Well, if,
I did give them an amount, but.
yeah, so, yeah, but it was only the 3 streets, so if you want to add the patches, add that to your motion, and you can use the one that's in red on this sheet, but we just gotta make sure, if you want to withdraw that motion and correct it.
I'll withdraw that motion and correct it with this one here, to make a motion approving the bid for Workus paving in the amount of $84,337,000, for the asphalt work on Meadow Lane from Dixie to Talpa, Orchard Lane from Dixie to Talpa, as well as 2 spot patches in the 1500 block of Foxhound Trail.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Musician,
Yes.
Kraus?
yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Giannotti?
Yes.
Okay, Penfield project update. Superintendent Connor?
Obviously, a lot of the days have been rained out. Thursday and Friday last week, they did work Friday, minimal of what they could accomplish, as well again today they got rained out. As far as we know, they're still on schedule for a partial completion. I don't believe they're going to get a full substantial completion. The way I'm understanding it is that the 500 and 600 blocks of Gould Street may not be touched this year. That may be early spring next year, as well as the final layer. So basically they're trying to get everything from the creek to the railroad tracks in the same condition that from Dixie Highway to the creek is currently, with curbed and what they call the BAM surface. Sidewalks will be going in before the snow flies and things like that, but we may just not have the final surface layer of asphalt on all the roadways. So weather's obviously hindering what they're accomplishing now. They are still working in the original stages of getting storm sewers installed. That's the very first step west of the creek. They should have that buttoned up hopefully this week. I know they're calling for rain again on Tuesday and maybe on Friday again. So, but they're definitely out there working and trying to get as much done as they possibly can. They're working Saturdays most of the time as well. So that's where we're at with that.
Okay, the Indiana Avenue resurfacing project?
Well, surfacing was complete last Thursday, and then the approaches were done on Friday, and then one of our water mains broke underneath there at 7 a.m. Saturday morning, so we had to dig through their brand new asphalt work. I talked to the county engineer today. He wasn't too upset with us, as obviously things happen out of our control. I'm hoping to get that patched in when IPC has that same project. Iroquois Paving did all of the Indiana Avenue work as well as our Penfield Street work. I'm we have to wait for that patch to settle out now, and then I'll have IPC replace that patch when they do the stuff on Penfield there by the fire station and the PD and whatnot. So as far as the railroad quiet zone delineators, those may be going in the next 2 weeks. County wants to paint stripe first, which I'm kind of hesitant on because I don't know how they are going to determine how wide they have to go in order for our channelizers to go down the middle, but that's what they're saying. They're not allowing us to reinstall them until after they're done painting, which is supposed to start this week, but obviously with the rain again, it's being postponed. So to the residents, we're trying. As soon as those delineators go back up, it's still a process. The county engineer then has to send pictures to Union Pacific Railroad stating that the channelizers are put back up. Then all the processes have to go back into play for the trains to stop blowing their horns. So at this rate, hopefully by Christmas, the train horns will stop again. But yeah, that project's been almost worse than the Penfield Street project that we're dealing with in-house, just because of the large capacity of it over there and more people use that roadway. So that's all I have in Indiana.
You're gonna be happy when all this work is done.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. I mean, yeah, some frustration right now, but the end result's definitely gonna be nice throughout town for sure.
Absolutely. The 2023 sidewalk replacement program update.
I am out to bid currently right now. The sidewalk bid opening is scheduled for Tuesday, September 19th at 10:30 here at the Village Hall. I'm out to bid to 8 or 9 contractors right now, so we'll have to see where those numbers come in at on the 19th.
Okay. Dixie Highway Water Main Crossover Project is getting ready to go out for bids with an October 31st bid opening. The project has been delayed since we have been having a problem with IDOT to renew the original permit. All permits are in, and the engineer's estimate now stands at $1,152,000, which is $100,000 more than we planned. Let's hope the bids come in good. And that's my report.
All right. Economic Development Community Relations Committee, trustee session.
Thank you very much. First off, discussion on results from the 2023 concert series, and more specifically the Maggie Speaks concert. So I would say it was a great success. We had an excellent turnout. Cinnamon Bowl was able to sell all their beer, which is pretty nice, and I heard a lot of praise for the food from Happy Life Ranch. So this closes out the 2023 summer concert series, which will be returning again next summer. I don't know if, Joe, you have anything you want to add on this one?
No, I think all the fans that did reach back out to us were all happy and willing to come back, so I think it was a good success. Heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, definitely.
More stuff to learn and grow from this year, year 2, so still got some growing pains.
Thank you for the volunteers, for the board, and everyone else.
Great job.
All right, results of August 30th tree lighting meeting and plans for November 26th event. A progress memo from the chair is enclosed. Meeting went well. We're making good progress on the event. We're currently in the prep stages of ordering supplies and reaching out to various organizations and churches in town to solicit volunteers. We'll be starting to post information on social media this month. Grant news is expected to be available in October. So if you want like the nitty-gritty details, it's all in the packet. A lot more detail than you probably want me to write or say right now. So unless anyone has specific questions. Lastly, fall newsletter publishing schedule release. In order to meet the October 17th mailing date, we need to begin this project now. Enclosed is the proposed timeline from the clerk with a few potential stories, articles. That's it, thank you. And I was thinking for a couple other additional options that I thought we would usually look for. Maybe we could have a bit of a, story on Project Pickle now that it's done with like our nice picture for the people that aren't seeing it on Facebook. And then like we've got the Welcome Shed Park, which I don't think we talked about much in the last newsletter, so that's something we could talk about, the updates there. And I can't recall in our last newsletter if we talked about all the firemen's. I think we talked some about what was happening at Fireman's Park, but now that that whole series is done, we can maybe kind of cover.
ARPA fund.
Yeah, like the ARPA funds, like what do we do with them?
Just do a rundown of all the projects.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, if everybody else has any ideas, of course, please share.
Are we still doing the behind the employee?
I think there's no reason not to.
I just didn't know which department was gonna be getting that done.
Who did it last?
So I think it was.
Well, we did police and we did
Yeah.
EMA.
I think we need to do an article on the outgoing administrator this time, and focus on that.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Good deal.
Well, in that case, that concludes my report.
All right. And I would like to give a special thank you also, as far as the concert series, all the things we do at the park. We have a very active village board, so all these people that you see on camera, these guys come down and they work all these concerts, they set them up, they tear them down, they're down there for the whole concert series. It really takes a lot of work to do this sort of thing in the community, and obviously thank you to the public for coming out for these, but I do want to thank these guys for putting in a whole lot of time and effort to get these concerts done, so. With that, we have a motion to go into executive session. Actually, is there any old business to come before the board? Let's do that first. Nothing? Okay, can we have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the applications received for village administrator?
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.